Good afternoon, everyone. It's good to see you. Welcome to KREM 2 News at noon. I'm Nicole Hernandez, in for Laura Papetti this afternoon. Well, less than an hour ago, Spokane Mayor Lisa Brown wrapped up a press conference about public safety and the search for a new fire chief and police chief. Brandon T. Jones is live in the newsroom with us this afternoon on the latest on what she had to say. So, Brandon, what did you hear?
Yeah, Nicole, Mayor Brown didn't specifically talk about the recent shootings in Spokane. She did talk about ongoing issues in the community like substance abuse and lack of housing fueling Spokane's homeless population. Mayor Brown said the combination of all these issues together led to a rise of violent crime in the city.
There is not a single solution to these problems. The improvement that we seek is not going to happen overnight. But we are Spokane. We care about people. When we work together and take on big challenges, we are at our best. And I believe we can take these big challenges on together.
Mayor Brown says health crisis teams only work Monday to Friday during regular business hours. She also says she's working on making those resources available for more hours and on the weekends. Mayor Brown in that press conference also went on to talk about her search for the city's next fire and police chief. Both stepped down in the past few months. The mayor says the search committee is going to look at applicants from across the nation to find the best fit for those roles. Then, based on what she said, it could be several more months before we find out who will take over those roles permanently. In the newsroom, I'm Brandon T. Jones.
Thank you, Brandon. We now want to get over to our meteorologist, Thomas Patrick, because Thomas, I was absolutely loving the sunshine earlier this morning. I want to know how long it's sticking around.
Yeah, and for now, that sunshine is still out. It's shining behind me, but there's a big difference taking place outside right now. In fact, as I look directly this way, this deck of cirrus clouds are starting to overtake the inland northwest from the south. If I look directly in front of me, it's still all blue skies, and that is to the north. So our next storm system is coming in, well, behind me from the south here. As for our current weather, we're standing at 34 degrees with filtered sunshine at the moment. And that sunshine, it does feel at least a little bit nice for this Valentine's Day. There we are at 34 degrees, but that is likely where we stay for the rest of this Valentine's Day. It's tonight into tomorrow is when we see the snowfall, which is back for our area. And there are winter weather advisories from the Palouse and all of Whitman County towards the Silver Valley in these areas of North Idaho. Not everyone, though. Spokane and Coeur d'Alene are not under this advisory because we are not expecting all that much snowfall, but we probably could get up to an inch. So here's what I'm talking about. These clouds are building in from the south. We can physically see it over our heads right now, and there's that blue skies off to the north. But this storm system is incoming. So coming up, I'll show you just when that snow is expected to arrive and how that will affect our morning commute tomorrow.
Well, results are still coming in for Washington's special election. Several multi-million-dollar levies and bonds are on the ballot for school districts across eastern Washington. So we want to take a look now at some of the results so far. First, Spokane Public Schools asked voters to approve a $200 million bond to replace and renovate a few schools. Right now, you can see yes has 54% of votes and no has 46% of votes. So more people are saying yes, but bonds specifically need 60% approval in order to pass. So right now, it means that this is not meeting that threshold and is not passing at this point. Also on the ballot is an almost $100 million levy for SPS. Right now, that's at 55% of voters saying yes and 45% of voters saying no. Levies only need a normal, simple majority to pass, so right now this one is passing. Our election coverage continues all day long. So for the latest, you can text the word election to 509-448-2000 and we'll send you a link right to your phone. Or all those results are also scrolling at the bottom of your screen right now and will continue through the show.
It's a car place, and it really should be a people place.
Well, a vision to change how people think of Northeast Spokane and the Market Street corridor. Today, the North Spokane corridor is more than 70% done. When the freeway opens, the hope is to connect communities together and cut down on traffic. So KREM 2's Tim Pham found out why it will also help places like Hilliard feel like a destination for businesses and for homes.
Its name is the United Building.
So it's become this really great meeting point. People meet here, they get coffees here.
Bringing people together is exactly what they do.
This is a place that you can go for food and go for a drink and go for a stroll after your meal and all of those things.
You might think this trendy spot is in the Perry District or Kendall Yards, but it's not. It's here, in the heart of Hilliard.
I'm stunned by this community. It is an incredibly tight community. It's an incredibly proud community. It's an incredibly engaged community.
Jesse Bank is the executive director of the Northeast Public Development Authority, also known as a PDA. While the city and county typically focus on the big picture of development in the region,
whereas a PDA can just look at its boundaries and say, what do we need here to make this work?
there's a PDA for the University District and in the West Plains, where the growth and development is visible. The Northeast PDA was originally created to focus on the industrial land east of the freeway in anticipation of the North Spokane corridor opening. It's since expanded to include Hilliard and the Market Street corridor.
And this is still a federal truck route, which will then switch over to the freeway once the freeway is fully open. But it's really been treated as a place you go through and not a place that you stop.
Some people say it stunted progress in the area.
It's difficult to do that when you can't hear yourself talk when trucks are whistling by at 45 miles an hour.
This will soon change once the north-south corridor opens and alleviates some of that traffic.
It is isolated up here. It's not completely easy to get up here. The connection down to 90 will make it much, much easier to access this area and to access points north.
We know that'll help businesses, but what about home prices?
So here's your primary bedroom in here.
In 2004, Teresa Janes began selling real estate, not long after the freeway broke ground.
A house like this that we're in today, that's approximately $1,500, would have sold for around $150,000.
And what about today?
And today, now you're looking anywhere from $375,000 to $400,000.
Increasing sale prices are something we're seeing in all of Spokane. It's not specific to homes next to the freeway, at least yet.
But I think it will over time, especially when you have these other developments that are coming in the pipeline.
So her advice to home buyers looking in this area?
Get in now while you can, because values are just going to increase over time.
Especially with how fast the neighborhood is growing. Reporting in Northeast Spokane, I'm Tim Pham, KREM 2 News.
We continue our week-long Boomtown coverage, digging into how our growing population is affecting the inland Northwest. If you live on the east side of Lake Coeur d'Alene, 911 response times just got a lot faster. The East Side Fire District brought in its first ambulance and is building a new fire station, all to, of course, help with the community that's growing. The district used to rely on the city of Coeur d'Alene for ambulances and their medical calls. That meant calls took about 30 minutes. Now, with its own ambulance closer, the response time is just 10 minutes.
We can get a patient going to the hospital much quicker than it historically has been, and if we need a medic, we could intercept on the way to the hospital and they could get on here and go with us.
Tonight at 6, our Amanda Rowley shares an early look at the new $1 million fire station.